Yesterday was the most difficult drive of the trip. In fact, one of the most difficult drives I've had in many years. The roads were, the tar roads are typical, quite slow going, but they're rebuilding the main east road. And for 76 kilometers, it was bumps and detours and trucks and dust. It took us over 3 hours to do that 76 kilometers. We had been warned about another section that was even worse between Patauki and Chipata, and so we took the back road. Now, we were told it's quite rough, but actually going to be more pleasant and really a relief from the trucks, dust and bumps, and we did that. And it was a rough road. It was tough going. It was very, very slow, very, very rough. The vehicle took a hammering, we took a hammering, but what a reward. I mean, at the time I was thinking, oh, you know, this is really, oh, you know, and trying to make our destination. And I realized after a few hours of the rough stuff, where we were going to, which is a place called Flat Dogs, near a town called Mvuu, which is the gateway to the South Luangwa National Park, was out of our reach. We would get there well beyond nightfall, and I'm not prepared to drive in this kind of country situation in nightfall. Really, I avoid it like the plague. But look at the reward. What an amazing campsite. This will go down as one of the best that I've ever enjoyed. It's fantastic. So again, the question is, why do we go to the national park and pay those very high fees when we can sit just outside the national park? What have we seen? We've seen elephant, warthog, lechwe, giraffe, all in the last hour. And we've just been sitting eating our cereal. As part of the minimalist theme of this expedition, where we are traveling with a vehicle that is very lightly equipped, we have not modified the suspension, we have not added any protection underneath the vehicle, not even a bull bar, we haven't replaced the rear bumper, we have simply put a canopy on it because canopy is absolutely essential to keep out dust and thieves. Rooftop tent and a fridge, and that's about it. Very light on camping equipment. I couldn't imagine being lighter. No battery, second battery system, and we are running a fridge, and I'm running it all night. So as part of the minimalist project, I'm carrying an insurance policy in terms of having a flat battery in the morning, which is always a risk when running the fridge. Now, I am being sensible. I'm not freezing my food in the fridge, so the fridge duty during the night is quite light. However, it is running and it is draining the battery, and I'm in a very, very remote place here. I mean, for me to now find, if my battery doesn't start this morning, I've got a serious problem. It's a very serious problem. So this is my insurance policy. It's a battery. It's called a Genius Boost, made by Nikko in the United States. I haven't used it for its full purpose yet, and I'm hoping really that I never need to. But it's supplied with those. Now, as incongruous as you might think, that can start a large diesel engine. Maximum output, if I read on the back, is 400 amps. And all I do is I plug it in the back here, if I get it the right way around, clip that onto my battery, switch on the controls, which is there, and connect it to the car and fire it up. Now, I am taking a bit of risk, I suppose, in putting, I wouldn't say our lives, that would be melodramatic, in the hands of this little thing, but it does do the job. We will be testing it later on in the expedition. We're heading off to Malawi, where we're going to be away from the car for a couple of days, and I'm going to leave the fridge running, knowing that the car might not start. The other part about this, and the reason why we've been using it almost every day. We've been charging it every day, and using a very, very small amount of its current. It has a torch function, and it gives a brilliant, broad, flat light, perfect for a campsite. Okay, if I need to charge my cell phone, I can plug it in there. That's a lot of power packed into that little box, and I charge it the same way using the USB connector. This has been such a nice piece of kit that we've taken with us.
Another piece of kit we've really been enjoying is our Ezi-Awn roof tent. Most people select a roof tent for such a trip because of the additional safety from animals. But is that a valid reason to use one?
Does it protect you from animals? I suppose so. But then again, I have to ask the question, well, what are the risks from animals? Are they real? Will an elephant tread on your ground tent? Truth is, an elephant is as likely to tread on your ground tent as knock that over. There's no difference. Elephants are extraordinary. They can walk around guy ropes from ground tents and not even trip over them. So against elephants, to me it's equal. There's no difference. Hippopotamus, actually about the same story. Hippos have so unbelievably rarely been a threat to campers in a ground tent. And the same goes for lion and leopard and hyena, as long as the tent is zipped up, particularly with hyena. So is it protecting you from animals? Well, I suppose it is, but it's more protecting you against the perceived threat than the real threat. So I look at it and say, well, because the threat is so negligible, that shouldn't be a main reason for buying a rooftop tent. But for many people it is. Even the perceived idea that the threat is reduced, if that gives you a better night's sleep, then that's a good reason to buy a rooftop tent.
However, there was one item that, for this ambitious expedition, I was not prepared to compromise on.
Going out and buying tyres is a grudge purchase for many people. But motor enthusiasts, 4x4 enthusiasts included, buying tyres is often really enjoyable thing to do. And that's because we have a relationship with these big black round rubber things that we attach to our vehicle. And we have such a relationship because they've served us well. They've delivered on a promise, and they've given us pleasure, even though they're tyres. I have a relationship with tyres, and it's taken many years to form, and that is why for this particular expedition I wanted to drive the tyres that I've grown to trust. this is a sponsored vehicle. Quite a bit of the kit is sponsored, but I wanted my tyres on the car. What I've got here is the new KO2. It's the new model BF Goodrich. My concern was, I've always liked the BF Goodrich all-terrains because they're so tough. They take a hammering. I can load the vehicle, they get hot. I've done so many trips with them with so few punctures. I first fitted them in 2009. So what do you suppose is different about this trip, and why do I think that this time I'm going to succeed? Well, firstly, different vehicle. Not that the vehicle had anything to do with me failing on the last trip, but it was the tyres, and this I've now fitted what I consider to be the strongest all-terrain tyre available. And the second major difference is I have a different hat. So I fitted them because I didn't want flats, I don't want punctures. I want a tyre that's going to be able to take a hammering, and these have taken a walloping on this Zambia trip. The amount of roadworks, the amount of hard driving, heavy braking, and gravel, and we've done sand work, done a little bit of rock work, not too much of that. First class, and it gives me a warm fuzzy. They made them better. They've made them even better.
Thank you for watching. If you would like to take our relationship to the next level, support me on Patreon. Just $1 a month to support our video productions. Download everything I've ever made and watch them on the big screen on forexoverland.com. Or subscribe now on YouTube.